Okay, so the interviews must be conducted ethically, so allowing the interviewee comfort, so you really want to attain to their requests, right? Where they'd like to do it, how they would like to do it, as long as it benefits you, benefits both of them, so they're comfortable. And the cool thing about interview, they can be structured, so it's straightforward questions where you go yes or no, or it's like, how do you feel about this specific subject? And it's really close-ended, or not, so yeah, that's closed-ended, or there are semi-structured. So what a semi-structured interview is, it relies on giving the interviewee the freedom of it. So you ask a few open-ended questions. So how do you feel about this topic? This topic makes me feel this, this, and this. And I actually conducted one during my undergrad where it was about young Canadians that don't vote. So with these young Canadians that don't vote, I interviewed one of my friends and really let them talk about how it makes them feel, why they did or didn't vote, and so on. And semi-structured really gives the interviewee the freedom. You give them prompts along the way, but this is what really gives them the freedom to kind of go off on how they feel. So another method is observational trials. So when do we use them is another form of, you could say probably quantitative data. And this is you can use either longitudinal approach or short term. So let's say one setting, it involves observing subjects that are not aware they are being observed. So it can be done in a public setting like a mall, like sitting down in a food court and just kind of watching people, seeing what they're doing. Maybe you want to collect how many times does each person pick up their phone in a matter of a 20-minute lunch at the mall. So this is obviously conducted anonymously. The data can't really be personalized. It's really anonymous data. And because the participants don't really know they are being observed. And another approach here are case studies. So when we conduct this case study, it's really heavily influenced by qualitative data, and it's usually a longitudinal approach. And apologize if I didn't mention it, but longitudinal approach is when you are conducting it over a long period of time, so it can be done over years. And it's always on a specialized group or one specific subject, one person. So for example, Helen Keller, that was an example of a case study. So it's a very narrow focus. They focus on her blind and muteness, and it can be used to challenge theories. So right now I've explained to you a few of the other sociologists and then some research methods. And now before we just go on to our assessment after this, I want to go through a few sociological theories. So modern conflict theory is a Marxist theory. So it's Marxist oriented, and it began through the misunderstanding of basic capitalistic fundamentals. And so right here is, again, we can go back to the dominoes. Why is the first person of all the dominoes getting all of them and only giving away 4 out of 20? And that's the way capitalism works. So that's a conflict, the unequal distribution of wealth, the power struggle, bourgeoisie versus the proletariat. The next one is structural functionalism. So it sees a theory that sees the world as systems that work together to form stability and solidarity within society, capitalist base obviously, and it's a lot about organic. It's kind of like a body, all the organs in a body functioning to keep the whole body working and in harmony. So really about the distribution of labor. And another common one which you may have heard about is feminist theory. So feminism, obviously it is extended into the understanding of society, trying to understand female oppression, the role of the patriarchy, inequality in the workplace, gender inequalities, and all of those, basically all the struggles that women have had to deal with over the years, and their approach to trying to understand why this is happening, what can be done to make it better. And I'm going to give you an assignment or a little assessment after this, but I would like you to just watch this video on a quick social experiment. I'm going to get the sound on.
ever go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
So as you can see here, the woman here in the purple is conforming to standing up to this beep, not knowing why. She just saw other people doing it. And that is an example of conformity, how society conforms so easily, how some people are very easily influenced. And as the video goes on, you will actually see that when the waiting room empties, new people will be coming in that don't know the experiment, and she will continue standing up at the beep, and the new people will also do it as well. So I'll just show you, skip ahead.
Her behavior.
We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived. And slowly but surely, what began as a random rule for this one.
Right, so as we see, new people are conforming to this social experiment. She didn't even know why she was standing, and she just continued to do it, and so did everybody else that followed her. So right now, if we were in a classroom, I would try to generate a discussion. Do we believe that most people are sheep, as the video says? Why do people conform? What's the reason behind this? And then I'm showing you this because your assessment, I will be giving you the class to do so, but in groups of 2 or 3, students will use the knowledge they've learned in class and come up with their own experiment. They will take the role of sociological researchers, and they must first choose a target group. So right there, the waiting room was the target group, and then a research method, so they use the video, and then the way they would like to target that group with their research method. And after coming up with the idea of the experiment they would like to conduct, they must choose a theory that they would like to use to back up their data. So this experiment will be presented in front of the class as if students are pitching it to the board of their school to try and get approval. So, and over here we have the marks for if you get the right target group, research method, sociological theory, and then a rubric on the oral presentation. The class will have, we will begin it at the beginning of next class. You will have time to work on it, and we will present them at the end. And if there are any questions, feel free to ask me. And that is all for today. Thank you.